Okay, because let's talk about this. No. I have watched this show, and as someone, well, I've not finished the show because I stopped when he was SA'd by the man, and I didn't fully look at the screen because what the heck? Like, why do we need to be so graphic in this day and age? Oh my goodness. Like, I know I have been SA'd before, right? But I don't feel like it's necessary to, like, literally, same thing with 13 Reasons Why. Like, I just feel like it's not necessary to put it in there, like, the way it's put in. Like, why can't it be implied? Why, like, I don't know. That's just me. I just feel like it doesn't need to happen like that. I don't think it should happen that way. I think that we should imply it. Same thing with sex scenes. I think they should just be implied. Okay, but now that I got that out the way, because oh my god, I'm gonna finish the rest of it, but oh my god, that was a lot. That bitch is crazy. Let's talk about that. I have been stalked before, and it's always confusing, especially when it, like, happens by different, like, multiple people, because I don't understand their thought process. Like, I don't understand why they can't just take no for an answer. Or, like, I researched a lot into it because I just could not understand why it was happening to me. And I know a big thing is, like, people are lonely, right? So people who are lonely do stuff like that. But that woman had a history of that. Like, that wasn't her first time doing it. And I need somebody to, like, I haven't finished the show, so I don't know if they do, but I really would like people to really break down why people do this and, like, make it a whole docu-series of, like, what goes on in their mind, because I just don't get it. And when it was happening to me, you know, a lot of people try to brush it off and act like it's not that serious, but it is. And when she SA'd him in that fucking alley, oh my god, like, I felt like when he tensed up like that, like, people probably like, why he didn't just push her ass into the water? Like, you don't understand, like, when fight or flight kicks in, you don't know what you'll fucking do, because, like, something just takes over your body. Like, I have just froze up. I genuinely, man. Plus, if he would have pushed her in the water, they would have probably acted like he was in the wrong, even though she was clearly crazy. They would have been like, she's a woman, why'd you do that? You know what I mean? But I don't like when people try to paint these, like, people as, like, oh, like, they're just, like, old and innocent, or older and innocent, or, like, they need love too. No, the hell they don't. Because, like, remember when she was sitting at the table? This is gonna be spoilers, by the way. But remember when she was sitting at the table and she had, like, infiltrated into, like, their friend group or club or whatever that his landlady had, and she stared him down, like, what are you gonna do about it? Basically, these motherfuckers know what they be doing. And I, like, it's like, it's so hard to explain because it's, like, covert until you see it. So, like, I'm glad he put that part in there. Like, she knew what she was doing, and she was basically like, what are you gonna do about it? And then when he threatened to call the cops on her, she was like, you wouldn't. As if she was the victim, as if he was betraying her. Like, I just don't understand the delusions they have in their head to think that this is normal or it's okay to do this kind of stuff. Like, they put their wants and needs above everything else. It's insane. I've been stalked, like by different people, and it was for different reasons sometimes, right? Like, I think that a lot of people may have went to it to a certain degree. Sometimes people stalk you online, sometimes people stalk you in real life. I have been stalked because of, like, exes, them doing it, or, like, their current or their ex doing it. I feel like that's a reason, and it's stupid and it's, like, dangerous. I didn't understand why they were doing it, but when you don't know the person at all, I think that's just an extra layer of, like, this is insane. Like, people trying to prove, like, her that they can convince you to love them. Like, they can be what you need is crazy to me. Like, I think rejection needs to be taught in schools at this point, because I remember being like younger and having such a hard time getting people to accept that like no means no. And they will laugh it off because like they see me as like docile and weak, and so I snap on them, and then they're like crying like, oh, you're so mean and all that. And it's like, I don't really care, get out of my face. And even sometimes if I snapped, they would still come back and they would still laugh. Like, it was insane. But it was like I was in a city that wasn't my hometown, and the people there just didn't have like a level of right and wrong. Like, they would know something was wrong, but it was like in that area doing like the wrong thing was deemed cool. And I also wonder if like that played a part into like him not being from London and not feeling like maybe like not knowing how to navigate it. I don't know, because even if you're in your hometown, how do you navigate it, right? But I feel like maybe he would have had more of a support system in his hometown. I don't know, because I haven't finished watching the series, but I know I wasn't in my hometown when it was happening, and I was just like so confused. Why the fuck are you doing this? Why are people here acting like it's normal? Like, when his like guys at the pub or whatever were like laughing about it, that's exactly what I experienced when it was happening to me. The one person who had my back when it was like I don't even want to consider them an ex. It was like a person I used to talk to when he was stalking me and showing up to my job every single day, like every single day. And to the point where my manager was like, when you're not here, he walks in, looks around, walks right back out. He was like, I will ban him from the store. And like, you need people like that who are just like don't take the phone and freaking message her back implicating you want to have, because people take it as a joke until someone gets hurt. And I just don't get that. Like, when I was a teenager, I was catching the bus, and on my bus stop, it was like in a little, it was really creepy. Like, I would insert a picture, but, I don't know. But well, actually, if you ever look up, like, the Brooklyn mass shooting, my bus stop was right there in that little vicinity. So it was, like, kind of in the cut. And a guy who lived across the street would stare at me the entire time. And then he would go to my other bus stops, and then he would like keep like harassing me, like, hey, and I would never respond to him. And then he would like show up other places, and like I was like, okay, what is going on? And I like talked to like the people I was living with, and they didn't do shit about it. And that's my thing. Like, people don't take things seriously until something bad happens, including the damn cops half the time. And I have siblings this has happened to too. And it takes like you snapping or something like that happening for people to back off. And I think that's really gross. But even snapping, like, again, like I said earlier, they will laugh. Like, something is so deeply wrong with these people to where they will laugh it off. Like, when he kept telling her, like, F off, stop chasing me. And she kept doing it, like, right before she essayed him. She's laughing. Like, she's taking this shit as a joke. And, like, I don't get, like, how they think it's a game. I just don't get it. I've been harassed home like that by strangers. And I'm just like, why? Like, what's not fucking clicking for you that I don't want you following me? And I've had women do things like this to me. And I was just, like, so taken aback because the way people are in my hometown is so drastically different than, like, the city I was living in. And I was just like, you people are insane. And this is normalized. And I don't understand it. You know, this reminds me of that study where it says, like, say 2 babies are being ignored, right? One baby will learn to self-soothe and will start to, like, never ask for attention, never, like, overstep or anything like that. Like, they'll kind of, like, resent attention. And then one baby will demand attention any means necessary. Like, they don't care if it's good or bad. They're going to demand it. And I feel like that is a pattern people need to look in when it comes to, like, stalking, because I think that plays a big part in it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're mad at them. They're still, like, anything to get a reaction out of you, they're going to do it. I'm so glad he put this, like, he was vulnerable enough to put this out there, because I remember when it was happening to me and I would ask other people, had they ever been through it? a lot of people like no, and like have like a attitude towards me, like you should be happy that people are like harassing you for your attention. And I did not find that crap to be cute at all. But then when I like obviously met people who were not insecure, and they would tell me like, yes, I've been through this too, I felt like it's kind of like a healing thing to know that like, one, you're not alone, two, this has happened to me too, and there needs to be better laws in place to help people who are victims of this. There's a show on the ID channel about this too, about people being stalked, because the law enforcement in the US does not take it seriously. And on the last episode, in my home state, her ex-stepson murdered her, and she had called the cops on him so many times. He had been arrested for it so many times. They just kept letting him out, and he drowned her in her bathtub. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. People just give them a slap on the wrist, and it's not fair to victims or the public or the families. But there is a freaking sense of entitlement that these people have to think that they have the right to your life. You know what I mean? Like, they have a like too much entitlement. But also, okay, so I love that he put in places where he quote unquote messed up, because I don't think that he messed up. And he literally said that this is like me having too much empathy and where it got me. And as someone who has too much empathy, I put myself in situations where I have tried to like nicely tell people to back off, and it backfired. Or you give people chances who you know are like the story time I have coming out, I cannot get iMovie to freaking export it. I don't know why, but iMovie gets on my daggone nerves. But it's about this type of situation where someone was like calling me nonstop, and like I felt bad for them, and I was like, fine, I'm gonna be their friend and I'm gonna talk to them. And that person became a psycho and put their hands on me and falsely imprisoned me in my house. It's like, you cannot have too much empathy. And I am still learning that, because I am naturally like a really nice, empathetic person. But people like this, Martha, or we're going to call him Sympathy, because that's a nickname me and my people gave him. Sympathy will literally take that and run with it, because they have no one. People don't like them for a reason. And like, I literally made a video about that recently. People don't like them for a reason, and I have got to remind myself that like, it's okay to be nice to people who are like loners and like ostracized, but you need to like take precautions, is what I'm trying to say. Take heavy precautions, because I have put myself in so many situations where I have befriended people like that, just like he did. And it turned on me. They become stalkers. They want your life sometimes. Like, they literally want to live in your skin. They'll start trying to befriend your friends and then turning your friends against you. And luckily, my friends didn't talk to. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, my voice is cracking. My allergies. But my sister literally said yesterday, she warned me about somebody. I did not listen, and that person hurt me again. And it happened like 3 freaking times, because I'm too empathetic. Because you know what someone is going through and why they're doing it does not mean you have to be around them, because it's not okay. It's not, you can't change them. And if they don't love themselves, that's something they need to fix in therapy. You're not their therapist. It's not going to work. You're going to end up getting a stalker or somebody who wants to live your life. They're going to start making Beyonce songs about wanting to wear your skin and your scrotum as a crown. That you don't want that in your life, okay? And I've had that happen. It was crazy. And oh my goodness, let's talk about the fact that like these nasty monsters play on your weaknesses. Like the fact that she could tell he had been essayed. So she knew, like, she spotted that crap a mile away. She preyed on it, and then she did the same exact freaking thing. That has happened to me. I've had people pretend like they were like, I understand you, and then they do the same exact thing that has been that happened to me before, or they use it against you and be like, see, that's why you got R-worded. Oh, you need a man in your life, or something like that. Like, it's insane. People are sick in the freaking head. And I know it's like our triggers may make us like react in a way of blaming ourselves, but no, you're not to blame for someone being a nasty monster. I remember when I would befriend certain people, and we will, you know how you like talk to your friends about like relationships, and they'd be like, oh, what would you want in say a guy. This could be male or female, because I've had both do this to me. And then you start talking about like, oh, I want these aspects, and I'm like, oh, well, like I have that, and I'm like, okay, but we're just friends. And they'll like, and then like try to like laugh it off or chuckle it off, and you'll go on and through life, and then start back talking and be in a group, and they'll do it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, like I'm like that. And it's like, I told you I'm not dating you. Let it go. And then I've had women be like, well, you don't know if you're not gay because you never tried it. And it's like, that's not okay. Like, people who just don't respect people's boundaries, that's not freaking okay. Like, it was like for a while, and it's because I was like working in a bad area. It just felt like I couldn't escape that. And I think that's really why mental health, man, I don't even know if it's say mental health, but people know what they're doing is all I'm going to say. People know what they're doing, and don't feel bad for them. I don't care how bad their life is. That's not your problem. I'm going to end this one here, and I'm going to make a second one, but thank you for listening. If you listened all the way through, bye.